the video that no one wants, but everyone actually really wants, and that is SB Dunks versus the new SB Force 58s. Today, I'm going to let you know my thoughts and run over some of the features of both the shoes so you can know which one you want to buy. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and another video. I hope you're all going well out there today, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment saying hi, and let's get into the video. Now, I've done my review on the SB Dunk Forces before. There's a couple of them on my channel. I'll leave the links down in the description below. Recently, I've been skating the Dunk Lows and specifically the Dunk SB Pros. And that got me thinking, which one's better? Which one's better to skate in? And what are the main differences between an SB Dunk and SB Force 58s? Firstly, the price. The Force 58s are $110 versus most Dunks that are $150 or $160. And this is AUD, by the way. And that's quite a difference straight off the bat. To compare, Vans half cabs are $160 out of the bat, and a lot of other Vans like the Vans Ave Pros in Australia are like $200, and the new Wavies, I think they're $180 or $170 the new Waves. Price isn't that really fair comparison. A lot of people are trying to jump on maybe the SB Force like myself because it's more accessible trying to get that than the Dunk, especially with like a lot of resellers at the moment. Like getting Dunks at retail is next to near impossible. Even the pair that I'm skating at the moment, I've paid resale for it. I paid $210 instead of paying what is $160. I think these ones would have been recommended retail price. So I paid a little bit more than I should have, but I was willing to pay that price just to see how they skated. Both of the shoes are a Cupsole, but what Nike says about the SB Force is like it's the future of the Cupsole, which personally I think they're like the SB Force 58s really skate more like a vulcanized shoe. Where traditionally most Cupsoles will have really good impact protection, the SB Force 58s have next to none. You really need to have you need to really change that insole out. Well, actually you can't change the insole out because the thing with the 58s is the sole isn't removable, or the insole isn't removable, unlike the SB, unless the SB Dunks. And also the Dunks have that air unit, and they really do act like that traditional Cupsole, and they do have a lot better impact protection than the Force 58s. Size-wise, they're both that wideish fitting shoe. They're good for someone with a little bit wider feet like myself. I'm a size 11 in most shoes. If I really want to be picky, I go down to a 10.5 in SB Dunks and SB Forces, but a size 11 fits perfectly. It just gives you a little bit more wriggle room down in the end of your toes. They're both a low shoe. With the SB Dunk, personally, I'm thinking is like more of the higher end of a low shoe. They're almost like a mid. Both shoes have really solid padding around the heels, but the SB Dunks have a lot more padding. They both have the Achilles lock as well in the heel. It's really hard to show on film, so I'll try to get a little bit of footage of that. But the thing with the Achilles lock, it is a lot thicker as well on the SB Dunks and the Force 58s. It is there, but it's just not quite all the way there, if that sort of makes sense. As you can sort of see in like a lot of videos and pictures and that, the heel area is just like that lot bigger and bulkier on the Dunk over the Force 58s. This can like lead to like you feeling a little bit more secure around your heel and Achilles area. Also, personally, it sort of led to like my heel flips, like there's plenty more area for your heel flips to connect and stuff like that. And I felt like my heel flips flicked a little quicker. I don't know if that was just me, the way I was changing my way of skating. But they are a nice flicking shoe for that heel area. Both shoes work well. The toe box on the Force 58s, like most things on this shoe in general compared to like the SB Dunks, is a lot smaller and a lot less chunkier. It's a little more pointier than the SB Dunk as well. With the SB Dunk being that fuller, square like toe box, it's really chunky, plenty of like flick area and stuff like that. But with the SB Force 58s, it's a little more minimalistic, it's a bit smaller, and it's still, but both of them have that suede patch around the toe cap, giving you that extra durability if you rip through. The laces on the SB Dunks are higher lace placement than the Force 58s. They also come with like a lace hidden protector area there you can use to like hide those bottom two laces, but I don't use that because I don't know, I'm just lazy and I just like the way it looks now, and I generally don't rip those laces down there. Both toe boxes on the Force 58 and the Dunks, both are full suede. They both have those perforated things in the top. Personally, I felt like my feet sweated a little bit more in the Force 58s than the Dunks, which I don't know why. It just could be like the different socks I was wearing. But they both have those perforated holes, both fully suede. Very similar but different at the same time type of toe cap, or toe box area I mean. You'll also notice there's double stitching around the whole toe cap, holding that extra bit of suede around. So the stitching is very similar. I did find that like the stitching on the SB Forces did rip a little quicker than the Dunks. Now, onto the tread. Well, it's probably one of the most important things, or personally it's one of the most important things for me, more so the durability of it. The tread on the SB Forces are the TriStar tread, which I hadn't seen until recently, and also noticed they're actually on the Nike SB Niges as well. I ended up going through these like toe area quite quickly. It's meant to contract and like subtract and contract for better board feel, Nike say. Personally, it starts off really grippy on the SB Force 58s, but then after a little bit of while, it just gets that little bit slippery, especially around that toe area as soon as you start wearing it in. And I found that wore down in that first sort of 2 weeks. And now let's compare that to the Dunks. The Dunks have like that traditional tread that they've always ran with on the SB Dunks. Keep in mind, if you get Nike Dunks compared to Nike SB Dunks, the tread will be different. It will be like that Jordan 1 type of tread. So keep that in mind if you want to get Dunks or Dunk SBs. There will be a difference. Back onto the sole though, of the SB Dunks. I had no issues personally about this tread. Like, there's been no issues with it. It is starting to wear down around that toe area that just little bit. If I was to pick one out of those two, I'd probably pick the Dunk outsole and tread as well over the SB Forces. I don't know, there's just something about them that just feel that little bit better. It is a lot stiffer as well, so keep in mind, like, both shoes start off really stiff, but I found like they do break. I found like my feet hurt a little bit less in the SB Dunks. The laces are something else that are quite considerably different. Like, you got your traditional really thick laces in the Dunks compared to your Forces have they have this like really thin shitty little lace, to be honest, in the Force 58s. And like, I did the lifetime lace wear test, and when I did that, the Force 58 laces like tore up in 8 goes. I personally, if you don't change the laces out in the Force 58s, I feel like they would rip pretty quickly compared to like the SB Dunks. Like, I hadn't changed the laces, I hadn't put any like extra things like around the laces anyway as well, or used the hidden protectors, and they're still trucking along alright at the moment. Durability, I think they're on par with each other really. Like, I don't see much difference in the quality of the suede. Both are sort of like, on my SB Dunks now, it's sort of forming that hole, and that's just under 3 weeks now. And the same sort of thing happened exactly on the SB Forces. Like, they got that hole, both shoes are being glued up, shoe glued up. The only thing is, like I mentioned, on the SB Forces, the sole went through a lot quicker than the Dunks. The Dunk has to me personally, a far superior outer sole, midsole, insole, just a better bottom of the shoe over the SB Force 58s. Now, like, sort of onto like how they skated and like how they responded to personally the way I skate more so. So everyone might find it a little bit differently, and this is just the way I feel these skated personally for the way I skate. Straight out of the bat, like, the Dunks are thicker, they're a big, more bulkier shoe. So if you don't really like that, they might not be for you. But after getting used to it, I do quite enjoy them. Like, the flick on it is consistent. I personally, with the flick, I'll go down a half a size, because in that toe box area, I do sort of get that little bit of folding from a little bit of flickage, because there is that little bit of loose gappage up there. Unlike in the Force 58s, that never happened, and I do have that little bit of toe room as well. So that's I guess that's a tick for the Force 58s. That, like, the structure of that toe box is quite stiff. And talking about stiffness, the shoe itself, like, this is the Dunks. So they've broken in, nice little bit of squishiness, and the Force 58s are they're still stiff as a board, and they'll skate for 4 weeks compared to the Dunks that have probably 2.5, maybe 3 weeks of skating in them. Personally, I haven't really noticed, or didn't really notice much difference in the flick, even though the toe box is that little bit different. The shape of it is actually quite similar, except the heightness, where it's like a lot squarer and then more pointier than, like, I mean, the Dunk is a lot squarer than the SB Force 58s, which is that little bit pointier. But the shape itself is quite similar. Both have that nice flick, the consistent flick. The flick didn't really change throughout of like both of these life shoes. So I did find both of them, I did enjoy like the flick of the heel as well. Though one thing I did notice, like with the Dunks, I had to bring my foot back a little bit to get that full flick, because it's like a lot more heel padding. But if you do put it in the wrong spot, I just felt like my heel flips flicked a lot quicker. But I did have to notice that I did have to adjust my footing back. But still, that like elusive Vero heel flip is like, I can get the flip and rotation there for the varial heel now. It's just about trying to get my body weight properly over it. So if you have any tips for varial heels, leave them down below and try to help a brother out. Now, the conclusion of like sort of which shoe would I pick, or which shoe should I suggest you? And to be a little bit honest here, that I've sort of winged a bit of it. I hadn't really scripted this out. I just gone on, I'm looking at the shoe and just remembering how I skated, how I felt this shoe, or both shoes actually. First things first, if you don't like a bigger, bulkier shoe, then you probably don't want the Dunk. The Force 58's for you. Price wise, like 110 to 150 isn't that much of a change difference. Like I mentioned, the Vans are like more expensive than the Dunk, so the price shouldn't really matter. That is if you can get these shoes at retail. Impact protection wise, the impact of the Dunks are far superior. Like landing primo, you don't feel it. Like, yeah, you might get that little bit more better board feel with the SB Forces, but goddamn, my feet hurt after skating those shoes. Durability wise, I feel like they're on par with each other. Like both uppers of that suede material, which like hands down, suede's like the best material for skate shoes in my opinion. My Adidas leathers, like they'll junk really. The leather is just not a shoe, like not a material personally that you won't really be skating in. The thing is like with the sole though, the SB4 sole, just like it chewed through quite quickly, just the way I skate. Something I didn't really touch on was like the way they look. Like both shoes look good, I reckon. Both shoes look good on feet. They're both like a really aesthetically pleasing shoe, so that's a positive. So it's really what colorway you personally like you want to wear really. But if I had to pick one or like choose one, and like if I could get these both at retail, I don't know. It's a tough one really. Like personally, there's a lot of aspects I like about the Dunk, especially like the better impact protection and all that type of things, and I do like that little bit bulkier of a shoe, especially around the ankle. The Achilles lock is really nice as well. But there's also something that's sort of appealing about like the Forces, where that B-stick little slimmer, but like the major downfall of the Force 58s is probably, I reckon, will be the laces, but is like the zero impact protection in it, and maybe how the sole just like wears down that little bit quicker. So I'll be interested to see if I ever can get another pair of Dunks, especially in 10.5, to just like see if it fixes that toe floppage issue. I might pick up another SB Forces as well and try and put different insoles in them as well, because personally I think these are like some of my favorite shoes that I've skated. Like the side wears well. They do get holes like all skateboard shoes do, and a little bit of shoe glue, but like the Force 58, there's just like the sole wear just goes through a little bit too quick. But then like the Dunks, maybe they're a little bit too bulky, but the sole is good and the impact protection is pretty good for someone who skates ledges and flat ground and maybe like 3 stairs and stuff like that. So after all this ramble and stuff like that, if you're still watching, hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you're not already. I hope this has helped you. Let me know down in the comments if you've skated either of these shoes, if I'm on the money, or if I've just been rattling some crap. Let me know your thoughts about both these shoes. Let me know if it's helped you as well. Like, have you picked up any of these shoes because one of my other videos? Like, all feedback is greatly appreciated. I'm growing slowly. We just ticked over 1,000 subscribers, so woo! Thanks for joining me on this little bit of a journey. I hope, like I mentioned, I hope this ramble sort of helps you choose between whether if you should, which one's better, and sort of like the main differences between the shoes, because it's a shoe that is like similar in a lot of ways, but different in a few different ways as well. So until the next video, guys, hope you guys have a good day. Keep killing it, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.